From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, Boston Chris here with the #1 resource for independent music in Northeast Texas. It's the ETX ROCKS Show, and we're all the way to episode 299. We're on finale eve, so next week you'll get to see, I'll tell you a little more about it later in the show. But you guys that have been following along with us for the 3 years that we've been doing this, I want to throw some numbers at y'all because I think you'll be interested in knowing some stuff about the show. In 2018 alone, we have just hit the 500,000 click mark. So what that means is in 2018, with the 100 episodes we have put out, we have reached 500,000 clicks between YouTube and all of our audio stuff. And I just wanted to say thank you to you guys out there for that. That's an unbelievable milestone to reach. That's just in 2018 too. So we're well on our way to 1 million clicks overall. I think we'll get that in the first quarter of 2019 sometime. And so this is the second to last episode of this year before we get back into it in January. And as you guys might know, we pride ourselves on finding the best independent artists and musicians, not only in Texas but beyond, and just finding that unique sound. And we have a huge treat for you guys today. I don't know where Brad is from, but I know you're originally from Hugh Springs, right, Ty?
Yeah.
Brad, where are you from?
I'm originally from St. Joseph, Missouri.
Okay, so St. Joseph, I can say that. So St. Joseph, Missouri.
Missouri.
Jeez, I'm not even
Misery.
drinking.
Some people call it
Missouri.
Missouri.
First time on the show, they're the Sideshow Drifters. And just a hugely unique sound, guys. You're in for a treat. When I say the best in independent artists, this is what I'm talking about right here. They did bring their instruments, and they're going to play us a few songs on the show. The first one's called Kentucky Moon. So tell us a little bit about the background for this song and how it came to be.
Man, usually in our songwriting style, we come up with a melody or a melody line, and I think that on that one it was the water dancing on the creek bank, distorting pictures of our lives. And I don't know, it just kind of come to me in a vision, sort of say, I guess. And then Brad, he put his input in.
Yeah, we kind of take a visual approach to that song where we're trying to paint a picture of a scene through the use of music. That's kind of where that song is at. Trying to get a picture across, I guess.
Right. I love the line Kentucky Moon, East Texas Sky.
Right.
Is it Sky or Nights?
Sky.
Sky. That's what I thought. I love that.
It gets you the relationship to no matter where you're at.
Right.
It's the same moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you talk about visualness in a song, and this is a perfect example of that. Guys, we're extremely excited to bring you guys the Sideshow Drifters for the first time on the ETX ROCKS Show. Right here live in the living room, it's Sideshow Drifters with Kentucky Moon. Y'all check it out.
Summer moon shines down on us on this long and lonesome ride. The water's dancing on the creek bank, distorting pictures of our lives. I've had my dry days. Lord, you know I dance in the rain. Had my ups and we've had our downs. The highest that I've ever been is when I hear you calling me back again. Kentucky moon, East Texas sky, hidden truth, twisted all up in your life. Well, I'm a fool, so I'll tag along, 'cause baby, it's all the same when I hear you calling out my name. Summer moon sets down on this long and lonesome ride. The water's dancing on a creek bank, distorting pictures of our life.
All right, so once again, we are back. It's episode 299. Man, June 2016, we started this project with little Katie Lynn, America's Diamond from America's Got Talent. We started under an oak tree with just a little handheld phone recording into it, and here we are, 299, almost 3 years later, and just super blessed. And we've got Brad King, Ty Young from the Sideshow Drifters here in the living room. And so, Missouri and Northeast Texas. So how in the world did y'all even hook up? I've got to know the story.
Yeah. Well, I moved to Texas in 2001.
Okay.
You know,
Same.
yeah. Followed a woman down here. And
Same.
things didn't work out in the
Same.
long run. So, I'd always played in bands in Missouri, so it was just, natural to seek out entertainment down here. And
So you jumped right back into it.
jumped right back in, played with several bands in the 2000s, and then went out on my own with the Sideshow Drifter project in 2014, I think it was, or 15.
2014 was when you put your ad out and
1.0
I
version
answered.
1.0.
Yeah,
right?
I answered. And then you
So where was the ad? Craigslist?
on Facebook.
It was
on
a Facebook post.
He was running an open mic at a local venue down there that we frequented, and just got together and played. And then I kind of went my way. I started playing with a couple different people: Brad Purdom, Chad Purdom, Randy Gartman, and Cy Carter come on board with Sideshow Drifters, and he changed direction. And me and Brad got together. We wasn't doing nothing. Started writing.
Yeah.
Really doing a lot of writing, together and getting our sound honed in. It's you don't want to be the same, I want to sound different.
Before you guys met, I imagine as two individual artists, you had your own strict lines as far as, influences, sound, stuff like that. But when you come together with another mind, everything has to, there has to be compromise, there has to be chemistry, all that stuff. So what we hear today from you two is ridiculously good.
Right. It's
what were the roads like for you two getting to this point?
to me it was the blues. When I first started learning the bass guitar, I was a lot heavy blues influence. So the country, when I moved into Texas, that's kind of where the country came in. I like blues and rock and soul, and the Memphis stuff, all that, older stuff from the 50s and 60s. Where Ty, he's more, Merle Haggard, country. You know,
You definitely hear the blues and soul in his voice as well.
I grew up on Merle Haggard and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
completely okay.
That was Hag was my hero. Stevie, I love watching him play. He's an entertainer. You know, I try to do both, but it's hard to focus on two things at once, I guess. So I just stick with singing and trying to play. You know,
Yeah.
sit still.
Yeah, good luck with that. Are there any rock influences in you as well? Because I hear some of, like, almost when I'm watching you play, man, I feel like you're holding back sometimes. Like, almost like you've played metal or rock and roll before.
You know, people ask me what my sound is, and I tell them somewhere between Merle Haggard and Pantera. You know, Dimebag Darrell was a pretty big influence back in the day when I was a youngster. And then I'd go from that straight to Merle Haggard or Marty Robbins. You know, I mentioned Marty Robbins earlier. I mean, I love all music, and what I want is just what's in my head to come out, you know. And until I met Brad, you know, I really didn't understand that I could do that. I thought I had to play this top 40 and this dance hall stuff to get heard. And then Brad was like, just write what you feel, man. Just let out whatever's in your head.
Well, shoot, thank you, Brad King, for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it's all
absolutely.
about, you know.
He was a big help. My wife, she guided me through a lot of it.
Because I'm sitting here as a listener, you know, listening to y'all live for the first time. I've been listening to the EP for weeks, you know. It's great stuff, but it doesn't do y'all justice here live.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine y'all playing a cover song. Like, you know,
Right.
legitimately one of the first times I've had an artist in my living room where I'm like, I can't even fathom what you guys would play as a cover.
Right.
Like, after listening to your original stuff. So I have to ask, do you guys play cover stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if so, what is it? What do you guys
Well,
lean
like a heavy
towards?
dose of Merle. We do a lot of Merle.
Big Merle. Jamie Johnson, we do a Jamie Johnson song. Pink Floyd.
Wow.
Pink Floyd song.
Nice.
Yeah. We just, I don't know, whatever we feel like we can.
We fill the crowd out basically at live shows. That's
You've got to.
really the only time we play covers is where we're, you know, playing in a live environment.
Right.
A 4-hour gig.
A
you know.
4-hour gig. Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's two of them here, so I imagine you guys have, you know, a drummer.
Yeah. Current drummer is in College Station.
Okay.
So he just moved there. What, a couple months ago, I guess.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
And you guys predominantly play as a three-piece, or do you add another guitar?
Right now it's 3-piece. We did the EP we cut with Sean Fussell.
Okay.
And he did some guitar work on it, and so we do use him sometimes if the venue
Yeah.
permits. You know.
Right. I think it's amazing as a three-piece. So you have to play rhythm and lead a lot of times, right?
I do.
How's that work for you?
Yeah. With
It is what
3-piece
it
we
is.
electrify, so he gets out the
Right.
hollow body and the Fender tube amp, and
Yeah.
we turn it up.
Do you feel like you mentioned earlier that, you know, you really didn't know that what's in your head could be what's in your head is you didn't know it was something that somebody would want to listen to, basically.
Right.
So what was the struggle for you prior to meeting Brad? Like, because for me, I've interviewed a lot of people that are creative, and obviously you're a creative guy, you're a songwriter, so there had to be like some misery going through your mind, like not getting that art out.
Yeah, the messed up thing is me and my wife, we joke about it, is when I was married to my first wife, I wrote nothing but love songs. And then now, since me and her's been together and I've started, me and Brad really writing, I write a lot of heart-wrenching, you know, and, you know, that's from experience. What the love songs was what I wanted. And
Yeah.
once I, you know, got my life together, I quit drinking this past year, you know, trying to straighten up. I got kids. And once I did that, I was able to instead write songs on experience instead of what I hoped for, because, you know, it's a lot easier to write about something that you've gone through, especially if you can touch somebody else's heart. That's the main thing. It don't matter when people ask me, what's that song about? I ask them, well, what do you think it's about? And then I tell them, you know, that's exactly it, because I want my songs to relate to everybody in some way or fashion.
Yeah.
You know?
So does that mean as you've evolved as an artist, both of y'all can answer this as well, do you feel like connectivity to an audience has become more prevalent in your art? You know what I mean? Like, because you're talking about stuff, the difference between wishes and experiences people relate more to experience than they do hopeful
Right.
stuff.
I think when it comes to relating to a crowd, you can do it in two ways. You can either relate to what they're doing and you can have a good time and party and all that, or you can talk to their soul and help them relieve some kind of, you know, despair they have in them through music. I think music heals if people would just put the right stuff on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we get a lot of good response. Really, you know, people seem to be into dancing. They, you know,
Yeah,
we do some bluegrass tunes, and
that doesn't surprise me at all. Not at all.
we play in 3/4 time every now and then.
Nice, nice. You know, I listened to the EP, like I said, I mean, if it was a record, it'd be worn out. I mean, I've been listening to it so much. And I mean, I think there's 5 or 6 songs on it, and each song is completely different than any other song on the record. How does that happen?
Right.
Because a lot of times, you know, especially in the 21st century, you hear a 12-song album, and every song sounds exactly like the one before it. It's almost like there's no creativity happening at all. But for you guys, it's legitimately each song's a different mood. It's a different style of music. How does that work for you guys? Like, how are you able to do that?
You know, it's almost like the song paints itself. You know,
Okay.
when you get into a groove or something, and it's like, well, we're not trying to restrict ourselves to just being a dance hall band.
Yep.
So everything has to be the same. You know, so we take those limits off of what we do when we approach the songwriting. So we end up with stuff that might sound like Joe Cocker, or with something stuff sound like a bluegrass, you know, Earl Scruggs. So that's
That explains it perfectly. I don't know why.
no limits, I guess.
I don't
We're
know
not
why
trying
all
to-
their songs sound different.
Yeah.
I hear a melody
Just
and I
happens
try
that
to
way.
figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really have a producer really telling us what to do. You know?
No, that's always a help.
Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely. That
And
freedom.
I've been down that road with bands before.
Yeah.
You know.
Freedom is amazing in music.
Yeah.
You know. So the first song they played was Kentucky Moon, and we're not going to play the second song yet, but the second song is also called Sideshow Drifters. And for me, my dad really influenced me heavily with songs like with the artists like Marty Robbins and early Merle Haggard and the Gunfighter Ballads and stuff like that. You know, the old West style of music that you would hear on the Westerns, you know. And that second song you guys are fixing to do for the audience out there really falls into that vein for me. And I look at you guys here in the living room, and I'm trying to figure out how in the hell you guys are writing like old West style music like that, especially after hearing the first song, which was, you know, really kind of low key almost, you know. And then the third song that you guys will hear towards the end, the sneak peek, is like a swampy blues, like completely different, like we were just saying. But man, you guys are still fairly young guys, and you're coming out with these like 50 old West style music. So where are those influences from? Like, how are you guys influenced by Marty Robbins and people like that?
Right. Well, I used to listen to Marty Robbins when I was a kid. My grandpa had the 45s. You know, we had a lot of that going on at Grandpa's house. So I guess that's where my traditionalism in country comes from. You know, my grandfather and his taste in music.
Well, it's definitely the countryest song on the album,
Right.
for sure. You know, I would say. And I mean, again, another visual song. You know, it takes you back to the
It
old
is.
saloons.
It's our anthem song.
Yeah.
You know, that we are a sideshow. You know, that's kind of how we look at how our path has been. You know.
I was just happy that you guys didn't have like an extra arm or anything like that
Right,
when
yeah.
you came in. You know.
Yeah. If you ask Chad Purdom,
Well, he's not part of the interview, so I'm not asking him nothing.
no, it's the Sideshow Drifters. I mean, the way I look at it, I mean, Brad come up with the name. I don't know where he come up with it, but the way I look at it is, you know, I've always been the side act in
It's an
everything I've done.
anti-industry nomenclature. You know, it's the sideshow to the main show, which is typical what you hear on the radio, Nashville.
Which is funny because that's what the third song is about.
Exactly.
Really, you know,
Yeah.
kind of. No, I don't need you.
Yeah.
You know.
right.
Yeah.
So what is the goal for you guys? Like you said, 2014, the project really, you know, hit the ground running, and
Right. Yeah.
Now you've
Well,
got
we're
the
looking
EP.
to expand the EP into a full album.
yeah,
You know, that being side B. So we've got several songs that we're going to choose for the A side of that record and
Okay.
put them out together. Probably, we're looking at the studio in maybe February last I talked.
So maybe late 2019 for side A.
Yeah, side A. Yeah.
Now you're going to release that obviously separately from side B, but are they
it'll
also going to be put together?
We'll do a
We're
compilation.
going to do both
Right.
to where you can, buy all three, have a side A, a side B, and then the whole package.
That's interesting. Like, is that like a marketing strategy, or it just worked
Well,
out
it
that
just
way?
kind of worked out that way. It seemed like everybody has been putting out EPs over the last, 4 or 5 years. So we took that approach, and it's like, well, let's do it again, but it's almost so it all goes together as one record. It could be listened together, side A, side B.
Right.
So we're hoping that it has still. We're going to probably work with the same studio, so we still get the same sounds. And,
Yeah, I was going to say that's
and
pretty
see how
important.
it develops,
Right.
over this next year into the new songs. I mean, we've pretty much got it already written.
Nice. Now, do you guys struggle with, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but with every song having its own identity, so to speak, do you guys struggle with nailing down an audience?
Usually, we get the audience of an attentive audience.
Yeah.
They're always like wanting to know what we're going to do next.
Right.
So it really hasn't been a problem, really holding on to an audience. It's not. I guess it's not a typical audience that you would see
Right.
at a dance hall.
Right.
We don't get a lot of dance hall gigs.
Which is
we
fine,
try
I'm sure.
to get whatever we can. But,
Right.
we tend to be in smaller venues and listening rooms, and people are there to appreciate what you're doing.
Right. And as an artist, that's a great place to be anyway.
Yeah.
It is.
You know?
Well, I'd rather go out and be in front of people when they're working on their issues, having a beer after work, when they're hanging out with their buddies, than go to I'd love to play arenas, don't get me wrong, but it seems like you don't really get a chance to talk to anybody. That's life, You need to know as much as you can, and the only way you can do that is talk to people. And I especially, that's one reason I write the songs I write is we do have that crowd. It's people that are going through stuff. It's people at these bars. They're all coming in, local folks, and they hear my music, and a lot of them take something from it, and a lot of them have a good time, and then some of them come up, give me a hug, cry on my shoulder, tell me it really touched them, and either response means a lot to me.
Well, you know what the question is now. Which one is more touching to you, though? What makes you feel more successful as a songwriter of those two?
Oh, well, successful as a songwriter is a that's a hard term, because what determines my success as a songwriter, is it that millions of people listen to me and enjoy it, or is it that 100 people love me and really
Well, for
dig my
me
stuff?
as a listener, I consider a successful songwriter somebody who has connected to somebody with their music.
Yeah.
I consider that a success.
Okay, so in that case, then I would prefer the person that it really touched them, and created an emotional response other than something to dance to.
Yep.
Shake my butt.
And isn't that the
whatever.
reason for songwriters anyway, to create an emotional response?
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that's our job. I think that as musicians, like I said, music is medicine. You can heal the world.
Yep.
I know people that have been in some bad spots, and they say, if you start singing, no matter where you're at, if there's people start singing along if they like it, if there's something scary, it ain't gonna bother you as bad because you're, taking your mind off of it with your songs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll cure the world one day. People just gotta listen.
So do you guys write separately, or do you sit down together, or does something just happen in one of your minds? and
Usually,
you send it to the other?
Ty will come up with something. I say, hey, call me on the phone. Hey, I got this. Come over. So I'll come over, and
How bad is this?
he'll play me what he's got, and then we'll just usually have a verse, a chorus, or a hook or something, lyrically. And I was like, well, I'll say, well, think of it in this manner, maybe, because you're thinking of it one way, and it's like, well, stand over here.
So you're the voice of reason.
Thinking about what you're saying. I mean, what are we doing here? And then it'll all just kind of come together and flow. We work the stories out together.
That's great.
Yeah.
So would you say he's added structure to your writing since you all met?
I think so. I mean, all of my songs, I structure them, a certain way. I mean, used to be a little differently than they are now. Because, like I said, I always tried to write that next popular hit. I wanted to, but I think that he tells me to look at it from a different perspective. Take the binoculars off and just look at what you got wide open. Don't focus in on one thing. Just see it from afar. I don't know.
I can tell you one of the most successful songwriters I've ever interviewed used that word, perspective. That songwriting can change just based on which perspective you're writing it in.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean? Whether it's first person, third person.
I try to keep him to where he's always focused on ambiguity.
Nice.
That way we're not really trying to force the listener to, this is what this story is.
Be as open-ended as possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that helps paint that song.
Right.
So I've got to know how long you've been writing songs, Brad, because that's you seem like really smart on it.
I've been writing songs since the 95 is when I first started writing songs. I don't have a lot of catalog. It's just, to me, there were songs, I'd write them and then just move on with my life.
Was there a lot of trial by error for you along the way?
Oh, yeah.
Figuring out what works, what doesn't, having those silent rooms, like, what?
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been through a lot. I do a lot of drawings and paintings, too, so, art has always been what I've always done. Music is another extension of me as an artist.
Right. That's cool. I'm really stoked you guys met. Because it sounds like it shouldn't have happened and did.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for him to be in Denison at the same general time that I was in Denison, that is a stroke of luck, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are bringing something to Texas that legitimately, I know most of the artists in Texas. I don't know anybody like you guys. Like, there is nobody out there that sounds quite like you guys sound. And that's a huge compliment, I think.
And what? I've played with a lot of them. So, that I've learned from a lot of artists in Texas that I've played with or ran sound for or roadied for, or, just in the short time I've been down here.
Yeah.
So I always pay attention to what they're all doing.
And that's really important, too, just to see what people are doing around you, what's working for them.
We wrote a song, and I send it to Ray. I got to know what Ray thinks about this song. Hey, Ray, what do you think? And he's like, it don't matter what I think about this song. Just make your song, and it's good.
Yep.
As long as you believe in your song, that's all that matters.
Right. That's cool stuff. And all right, guys, we're sitting here with the Sideshow Drifters, first time on the show, and I promised you guys a Gunfighter Ballot. It's not so much a Gunfighter Ballad, but it is definitely very Western. It's a Western feeling song. You're going to find yourself immersed into a different era in time, I feel, when you hear this song. We've talked a little bit about it. They've already really described how the song came to be, so we don't have to do that. So we're just going to go straight into the song. We're just going to go straight into the song right now. It's Sideshow Drifters doing Sideshow Drifters. Y'all check it out.
We're just drifters on this road that we call life. I don't know if we'll make it out alive. Barely making day to day, just trying to get out of that same old routine of falling down. Call us the sideshow, they've even called us insane. One way or the other, they're gonna know our names. When we roll through town, we're coming like a runaway train. Your songs, they push us forward, we don't look back. Playing shows from town to town, making all ends meet. Hoping that one day we'll land on our feet. Call us a sideshow, they've even called us insane. One way or the other, they're gonna know our names. When we roll through town, we're coming like a runaway train. Called us a sideshow, they've even called us insane. One way or the other, they're gonna know our names. When we roll through town, we're coming like a runaway train.
All right, so we are back. Whoa, what is that? Oh, 2018 World Series champions. Eat that, Astro fans. What? So we are back. We're here with the Sideshow Drifters. There is a dislike button on YouTube. I think I probably just heard it.
Right, yeah.
Hit
Here,
two
took it
times.
away. Right.
But it'll show me when they hit it, so I'll know it's not about y'all. It's about that. The glorious hat. But yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan, and I've been goading people all season long, so it's all good. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys being here. And if people are hearing about y'all for the first time, where can they follow along with everything you have going on?
Facebook's probably the best place to get us. We're currently undergoing web redesign.
Yeah.
You know, so the website is, I don't know, it might be online or it might be offline. You never know. It just depends on where they're at with the work.
So you'd prefer like we send them to Facebook?
I would just go through Facebook or Reverb Nation. You
Okay,
know, that's the two places right now that you can really get.
Well, we'll go ahead and we'll put the Facebook link in the description below so you guys have easy access to just go over to their page, hit the like button, which is completely free to do that, and it supports the artists hugely because all the venues and everything look at those numbers. They shouldn't, but they do. So you guys have the power in your hands. Just click the link below, click the like button. Again, it's free unless you hit the button twice, and they're going to charge you an exorbitant amount of money. So don't do that. If they hit it twice, they unlike. That's bad. You know what I mean? One time. That's all. And guys, if you're spending time with us for the first time, we definitely want to thank you all for tuning in. We are located on all social media. We're located at ETX ROCKS. So definitely follow along with everything we have going on. Next week, 1 week from tonight, episode 300. Now, we're going to be hanging out with the man that wrote The Dance for Garth Brooks. We're going to be hanging out with a guy who has written songs for Merle Haggard, Emmylou Harris, Kenny Chesney, Patti Loveless, amongst many, many others. And, we're going to be sitting down with the most awarded country music singer in the history of music. 18 CMAs, 21 Grammy Awards. He's a member of the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame, and the Hollywood Walk of Fame. All three of those guys are going to be here next week. We're talking, of course, about Tony Arata, Mark Germino, and the one and only Vince Gill are all going to be on the show next week, 1 week from tonight. So don't miss that show. Insane advice from three of the best songwriters that music has ever seen. Just incredibly insightful stuff. So make sure you tune back in next Friday for that. Also, if you're listening on our audio version of the podcast, where you can find us also on high definition video over there on the YouTube, and at least two of the guys on camera right now are extremely good looking. Those two. So you might want to check that out. And while you're over there on the YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Ring the little bell next to the subscribe button. That'll notify you whenever we have uploads or new content available to you guys. We're over 1,600 videos now on YouTube. And so that's just insane. I think it's like 8,000 hours of content or something on there. And it's all independent musicians. Some you know, some you don't. So if you're a music fan, you're looking for new artists to follow, hit the subscribe button. You'll be happy you did. Also, we are completely self-funded on the show. That means we could use your help, and especially in 2019, because we're scaling back, and the reason why we're scaling back is because of funding. So if you guys would like to help the show stay on the air, please consider donating to us. We have a donate link set up at www.paypal.me/ETX ROCKS. And guys, I cannot say it enough. We 100% depend on your donations. So if you're enjoying the show, even if you only have $1 or $2 to send us the $1 or $2. It makes a difference. Trust me. Now I feel like Sarah McLachlan. You know what I mean? Thank you. Keep it going. I think they play "I Will Remember You," not the "In the Arms of It." Thank you. Is it in the arm?
Right the first time.
Oh man, that's why I keep her around. And also, you guys, we have a website over at www.etxrocks.show. We have an internet radio playlist running up there where you'll be able to hear these three guys' songs anytime you want. They'll be running on there in rotation. Hopefully by the end of the day today, we'll have those up and running. And there's like 600 other songs on there as well, all performed live right here on the show. They're all live recordings, so some of them have character in them. You might hear a dog barking, you might hear a cat meowing. It's fun. I'll listen to the playlist and I'll hear a dog and I'll be like, yeah, I remember wanting to kill the dog that day. Yep, that was fun. And as we always say and have said for 299 episodes now, we want to thank you guys out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
That's right.
I hear the devil calling out. He's saying to me, son, I can make you anything that you want to be. So pick up that pen and sign right here, and I'll make you the only thing anybody wants to hear. And I say, hold on, don't get me wrong, I do just about anything for anybody to sing along. Well, I say, hold on, let's get one thing straight, I'd rather do it all on my own. I don't need you anyway. Well, I filled my veins with amphetamines. I've done everything that I know, trying to ease my pain. The bourbon inspired those words I wrote. I think it's time that I give it up and do it on my own. And I say, hold on, don't get me wrong, I do just about anything to write another song. And I say, hold on, let's get one thing straight, I'd rather do it all on my own. I don't need you anyway. I say, hold on, don't get me wrong, I do just about anything for everybody to sing along. Well, I say, hold on, let's get things straight. I'd rather do it all on my own. I don't need you anyway. I'd rather do it all on my own. I don't need you anyways.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow, of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX